My name is Lauren Bell. I am 21 years old. I come from Northern Ireland, from Larne, which is near Belfast, and I'm currently a student and I study in England in Newcastle. And this year is part of my studies. It's my third year. It's called the Year Abroad, and you have to go away for a minimum of 9 months to a country that speaks Spanish. So that's why I'm here.
My name's Sarah. I'm Australian. I'm 27. Back in Australia, I'm a lawyer, but currently I'm a backpacker / volunteer at Mariposas Amarillas.
I've been here for just over a month now. At the beginning I worked the 2 weeks in the morning schools and afternoon schools, and I can't actually believe how much it tired me out, but it was so much fun. And then after more volunteers arrived, I started just doing the morning schools, and typically I've been with the younger kids, so we've just been working on the numbers and the alphabet. So every morning we try and do the written work first, because that's the only time that the kids can pay enough attention to do work, and then we have a break at about 9:30. So we start at 7:30, we work for 2 hours and have a break at 9:30 for half an hour, and then afterwards we try and do some activities and something that's a bit more fun, because the kids have lost interest almost by then.
I've been here in Santa Marta this is my 6th week, and normally I get up at about 6:30. I take the bus out to Bastidas, and we open the school at around 7:30. The students arrive and we start by forming a circle, and we say good morning to everyone. We discuss the rules of the school, we greet everyone formally, we talk about what the date is, and then we start the classes. Usually I teach the small kids who are about 5 or 6, but this week I've been teaching the big kids who are more like 9 and 10. We've recently started a reading program, which is our focus at the moment. After school finishes at about 11:30, I come into town, normally have lunch, and then we have often a meeting. On Mondays and Thursdays we have a meeting. Some days I then go to Oasis as well to teach in the afternoon from 2 to 4, but not every day. After school I normally go to the internet cafe to come up with some ideas for tomorrow's lesson, and then at night I go out.
The best thing I think is being with the kids, because I've always loved working with kids, and I was doing work with kids a few months ago, and then in my time in Bolivia I wasn't with kids at all, and it made me realise coming back here just how much I missed it and how much I love working with them, and just seeing how happy they actually are. Like, it doesn't matter if they're not learning everything you want them to learn, but the important thing is that they're actually happy and they enjoy coming to school, and probably not many kids can say that. So it's great to see that.
I've got so much out of it so far. Firstly, the most obvious thing is you get to be part of a community. I think there's a lot of people, you know, who are backpacking around South America and hanging out with other gringos a lot, and they're not necessarily really feeling like they're part of something. Whereas I feel like I live here in Santa Marta now. I have my supermarket, I have friends, I have a hairdresser. You know, I feel like I'm part of the community. I know a lot of people. I know the kids. I know some of their parents. I know my way around. I feel like I'm actually part of this city, and I feel like that's greatly enhancing my experience of South America. So that's what I get out of it. Also, it's an opportunity to improve your Spanish. I mean, the obvious answer is you get the feeling that you're giving back, but I think it's more than that. It's more the feeling that you're enhancing your own travel experience, because you're learning and you're getting to know people.
Yeah, definitely do it. It's probably one of the best experiences you'll ever have in your life. I did it because I had to come away this year, but I've always wanted to do volunteering, and so I'm so glad that I had the opportunity to come away for such a long length of time and to volunteer. And it's just, I know everyone says it, but it literally is the most rewarding experience ever, and at the same time it's so much fun, and you get to feel more part of the community than what you ever would. Like, you don't usually come to Colombia and come to these neighbourhoods and get to sit with people who are actually Colombian and have conversations, so I think it's really important to do that as well as seeing the touristy spots. Two sides.
Absolutely, just come and do it. I have to admit, I was really nervous. I signed up to do it back in maybe January, and the night before I actually arrived to teach my first day, I couldn't even sleep. I was so nervous. I had visions of, you know, children just running circles around me and just being frozen by lack of Spanish ability and by lack of experience working with children. But you get over that. The very first day you'll see the schools are very laissez-faire. There's not a lot of rules, and we have a lot of fun. And I don't think anyone could not enjoy themselves in the schools. It is fun more than anything else. So if you, don't feel nervous, or do feel nervous, you'll get over it quickly. Don't worry.
My Spanish was quite good, probably. I've been studying it for years, so it should be good, but it's not as good as I want it to be. So before I came, I was able to communicate with most people. I had just come from Bolivia and hadn't spoken Spanish there for 2 months, so it was a bit of a shock coming and hearing the kids talking so fast and with their accents and everything. But yeah, it was fairly good, but I still feel like I've improved so much since I came here, because speaking with kids is the best way to learn, because they're not going to slow down for you, and they're not going to change the way they speak just for you. And of course they don't speak any English. But at the same time, I wouldn't say it's essential. There's been loads of volunteers who haven't spoken the word of Spanish, and it's so easy to work with kids without speaking their language at all. It's just important to keep them entertained, so you don't need language for that.
I have to admit, that was one of the things that both motivated me to volunteer and made me hesitate to volunteer, because I've been trying to learn Spanish. I'd done a 6-week language course back in Panama before I came to Colombia, and I wanted to improve my Spanish, but at the same time I was concerned that my Spanish wouldn't be good enough to work in a school with kids. Now that I've been here and worked in the program, I see we have some volunteers who have excellent Spanish, who can really just get up and teach a class on any topic at any moment. We have some volunteers who speak almost none. I think there's a role for everyone in the program. Obviously, if you can't speak any Spanish at all, you might be better teaching sports. But there's room for everyone. We need as many volunteers as possible, regardless of the Spanish ability. And I mean, you'll learn. But at the end of day one, you will know the word for pencil sharpener. It's by far the most important. Sacra punta.
To not worry about it. There's been so many people that have told me not to come to Colombia. It was actually my granny's last words to me before I left Northern Ireland, to don't go to Colombia, please. And but I knew that it would be the biggest regret if I didn't come here. And to be honest, I don't feel any different here or any less safe than I did in Argentina or Bolivia. And I just feel like any city is the same anywhere in the world. Like, it's going to have its dangerous areas and stuff like that. So I think that you need to experience it for yourself and just do the things that you would do at home in your own city. Be careful.
Look after your handbag would be number one. But Colombia is a really easy place to travel in a lot of ways, because people are really friendly and they're interested in you. And you'll find people come up to you in the supermarket and ask you, why are you buying that? What are you going to cook with that? Where are you from? And so in many ways, Colombia is a really easy place to travel because the people make it easy. That said, I feel like I love Colombia more than a lot of other countries I've been to now, and it probably is because I feel like I'm becoming part of a community. I'm not just living in a hostel and talking to other foreigners. I feel like I'm friends with Colombians and have a role to play here in Santa Marta. The other great thing about living here in Santa Marta is the weather. It's always hot. It's fantastic. And there's lots of great places you can go away for the weekend. Nearly every weekend the volunteers get together and we go to Palomino or Costeño or Minca, or you can go to Parque Tayrona. There's all these day trips you can go, well, day trips or weekend trips you can get to within an hour or two. So it's a beautiful place to live. It's cost effective, it's fun, and it feels like home right now.